Okay, welcome back. Always great to. I think it's going to be an every year occurrence that you come back for the Toronto Film Festival. This is a good
I haven't
thing.
been here for a few years though.
Has it been a few years? Because I just
Yeah.
remember talking to you. My goodness, time flies.
What, with Fugitive Pieces or Pride and
That
Prejudice?
for
or...
sure. And oh my gosh, well,
Yeah.
it feels like yesterday since I last saw you.
Well, my film was here last year, and I couldn't go because I was doing Barney,
Of
making
course.
Barney.
So there you go. See, I knew you were in a film.
And education was here. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good to have you back on Canadian soil, and I want to congratulate you on your role for this because I have not stopped talking about your performance in this movie.
Oh.
You were outstanding in this film. When you got this offer, and did you know about how popular Barney's version was here, especially here in Canada?
I didn't know how well known it was. I'd read the book, actually. I knew the book. It was one of those cases somebody says, I think you'd enjoy this. And usually when someone says, I think you'll enjoy it, I think, how do you know I'll enjoy it? You don't know anything about me. But this was they were right, because it's very, very funny. It's just my sense of humour. I loved the character. I thought Miriam was the most incredible creation, but I never thought, when they said they were making a movie, that I'd play Miriam. So I actually auditioned to play Clara. And Richard came to see a play I was doing in London and said, well, maybe this girl isn't Clara, maybe this girl is Miriam.
You were amazing, Miriam.
But it's hard to see because obviously Miriam, spans 30 years. So I think their initial thought was to probably hire an actress in her 40s, who could age down and then age up. But it was just, I wanted to play it so passionately, and I wanted to do it. As soon as I knew Paul was cast as Barney, I knew he was going to be brilliant, and I just knew I had to do this love story with him. I wanted it so badly because I thought it was so beautiful and I recognised it.
Yeah, and what do you think it is about Barney? Because yes, we end up loving him, but he can be a curmudgeon. He's jealous. He's he's schlumpy sometimes. He's what is it about him? Why does he get all these women? And then he finally gets the love of his life, but he really pursues her.
Well, I think Miriam's someone who sort of cuts through all sort of extraneous sort of garbage that comes with a person and sees right through to who they are in their soul, and it's not a sort of particularly kind of deep thing, it's just an instinct, and I think she sees him and I think she recognises him. I think she sees that there's this sort of very, very sweet person inside, the kind of kernel of that in the middle, and I think she brings it out of him. Somebody said a nice comment that they said when they watched the movie, Barney was completely different in the scenes with Miriam. You sort of see a different side of him, and of course, I really only saw that side because obviously those were the only scenes I was in. But
well, absolutely. Well, because it was prior to women. You married one because you got her pregnant, and the second one, it just kind of. I mean, for anybody who's picking up a woman at the night of his wedding.
Yes, and of course, that's Miriam's big anxiety is men who are sort of flirtatious and unfaithful. So the very point at which they meet sort of taps into her sort of deepest anxiety.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's just kind of. I wish there was a word, the French word sort of bouleversé or something, the sort of totally kind of, it sort of ricochets round you and sort of overturns your world. And it's such a sort of crazy gesture. And I'm sure Miriam's, usually was courted by a very respectable kind of, the kind of guy one ought to sort of hang out with. And I don't think that's who she is exactly. She's steady, but I think she's got kind of a sort of ironic and sort of wit about her too.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Even though it's quiet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the undertones are there. Okay, just tell me about working opposite Paul Giamatti, because the chemistry between the two of you was just wonderful, really.
Thank you. It felt very easy, if that's not a sort of, I don't mean that in any way sort of arrogantly, it just felt sort of simple in a nice way. We had the first meeting with Paul to sort of see if, the sort of ubiquitous chemistry test, whatever, with Richard. And Richard, the director, said to me, I want you to just look really closely in Paul's face, and I want you to notice all the things you love about it. And I thought, this is my kind of director, this is brilliant, and he said, does that sound like a funny piece of direction? I said, it sounds like a brilliant piece of direction. It's exactly how I think, that's how my brain works, so it was like a sort of pass to be able to be intimate, and, really intimate. So it's not, your performance isn't just sort of you, on your own. It was everything that was happening between us. So that's what I mean by simple, really, because I felt all I had to do was listen to him and respond.
Yeah, and also Scott Speedman, who I was saying, he's great. He's such a good guy and he's such a good actor, but he also went above and beyond, I think, for this role, something different that we haven't seen from him. Did you enjoy working with him?
I didn't meet Scott at all, really. I mean, we didn't do any scenes together.
Yeah, no, but you didn't even
We hung out a bit.
Okay.
But I think Scott's fantastic in it. I think I'm sure for him it's a relief. He probably felt like he got wings with this
Yeah, exactly.
role, you know, which is what anybody needs, is to somebody to sort of take a chance. And, you know, unfortunately our business, if you're known for something, people are very reluctant to kind of let you do something else. So, you know, it was probably great that Richard Lewis came to see me in my play, because, you know, it was something that probably, a part that film audiences haven't seen me do, the one I was doing on stage. And
yeah,
you know.
exactly. What a wonderful opportunity.
So,
I also had the opportunity to see at this film festival Made in Dagenham, which I absolutely loved. It's the first film I saw like weeks and weeks ago, and I just loved it. And again, you're so good in that. Like seriously, working the one-on-one scenes that you have with Sally Hawkins. Seriously, tell me about working with her.
That was I did the film because I really wanted to work with Sally, and it's funny because, you know, I think we kind of sort of recognise something. This is unusual because usually I think one feels that when you're opposite a man, you know. But I really respect Sally. I think she's a brilliant actress. You know, I go to see her plays in London, you know, but we've never actually met. And you know, there's this wonderful connection that's written between those two women from very, very different backgrounds, and yet both are sort of equally nervous of the other. You know, it's not like one's in sort of high status and one's low status. They're both sort of trying to make an approach to friendship, and both are feeling, you know, on unsure ground. You know, and it makes for something quite special in the writing, really. I mean, it's good writing. That's the thing with both these films. They're both written by excellent screenwriters.
Yeah, but excellent stories too. Like the Dagenham story, I didn't really know that much about it, and just her, you know, her fight for equality, and I just they're
know
both...
it's a fight still worth fighting for, I think.
Hello. Yeah, exactly. I mean, she did make a difference, but there's a lot to talk about for that.
There is.
No question. When you get scripts now, Rosamund, is it something that, you know, what in particular are you looking for? Is it director? Is it cast? Is it, you know, we don't see you do a lot of comedy, but I think I understand we will be seeing you in a comedy coming up.
Yeah, just since an education, actually, I've kind of sort of steered my course rather towards comedy. So I've just done a comedy with Owen Wilson and Jack Black, and I'm doing a comedy with Rowan Atkinson in England at the moment.
Oh, have fun keeping a straight face there.
I know.
Oh my God, Rowan Atkinson.
I know. I mean, he's a genius, you know, and it's kind of feels like sort of learning a new craft from, you know, the masters, I suppose. What
was it like? The movie's called The Big Year, and I'm looking at this. Jim Parsons, who is so huge here in North America. I don't know if you've seen The Big Bang Theory, but this guy just won an Emmy Award for it. He is hilarious. You know, Owen Wilson, Jack Black, Steve Martin. Hello. I talk about trying to keep a straight face.
I know, my stuff was really with Owen, and we did have a laugh. We really, it was a great atmosphere. I mean, that's the way to go. You know, comedy sets, they're a lot more fun. You know,
do you find comedy harder though?
I don't know. I wasn't. It depends if you find it funny. I mean, it's only funny if you find it funny. So in an education, I find Nick Hornby very funny. So the situations, but you know, I didn't feel a pressure. I haven't felt this sort of pressure to make people laugh, because in education it was a sort of bonus if she did, really, rather than, you know, everyone was coming because, you know, I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be an Owen Wilson or a Jack Black, where people come because they, you know, they're demanding.
Yeah.
You know, the audience is demanding for you to make them laugh. I mean, that really is a pressure.
Well, I really look forward to seeing that, but I'm sure you did a great job.
We'll see.
Very looking. Oh, it'll be fine. Don't you worry. Well, I really congratulate you on everything. You're so talented, really, and this is just going to showcase your talents beyond. And you're so great in it. Really, congratulations on everything, and I'll say hi to Carrie Mulligan, because I'm going to be speaking to her this afternoon. So
say hi. Yes, she's here.
Yeah, she's here for Never Let Me Go. Thank you so much, and have a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just have a very quick picture of you.